Welcome to Hired in IT. Our mission is simple: help you build the skills that employers actually want. Whether you're trying to land your first IT job, switch careers, earn a promotion, or increase your salary, we're here to help. Every video is thoroughly researched and designed to make complex IT topics easy to understand. If there's an IT topic you'd like us to cover, leave a comment below. We may turn your suggestion into our next video. Turning IT knowledge into career opportunities. It's 3 a.m. at a regional hospital. A hacker gets in through a server that's been missing a critical patch for 6 months. In minutes, every patient record is encrypted. The code is known, the fix is available, but nobody ever scanned for it. This is what happens when vulnerability management isn't a priority. We just spent Part 10 hardening every endpoint. Now, Part 11, Vulnerability. Management connects the dots from endpoint to enterprise. Here's what you'll walk away with: the 5-stage lifecycle that every VM program follows, the most used scanning tools you'll encounter in interviews, and what vulnerability management specialists actually earn, plus the first hands-on step you can take this week to start building that skill. A few years ago, a major company suffered a data breach that exposed millions of records. The root cause? A known vulnerability in a widely used application had a patch available for months, but it was never applied. A mature vulnerability management program would have caught that missing patch, prioritized it by risk, and ensured it was deployed. That single oversight turned a manageable risk into a front-page catastrophe. Vulnerability management isn't optional. It's the shield that prevents routine IT gaps from becoming disasters. Let's get the definition locked in. Vulnerability management is the continuous discovery, prioritization, and resolution of security vulnerabilities across your entire IT infrastructure. Not to be confused with a one-time vulnerability assessment, that's a single photograph. Vulnerability management is the whole security camera system, always on, always watching, always improving. If you only scan once after an audit, you're effectively blind from day 2. A mature VM program runs on a continuous cycle of 5 stages. Discovery finds every asset and the vulnerabilities on it. Assessment evaluates severity and potential business impact. Prioritization ranks them by risk, so you tackle the worst first. Remediation is the actual fix. Patching, reconfiguring, or putting a temporary block in place. Verification confirms the fix worked. Then the cycle starts again. Every stage feeds the next, forever. Quick checkpoint. Can you name the 5 stages of the vulnerability management lifecycle? The answer: discovery, assessment, prioritization, remediation, and verification. Quick check. What are 3 common categories of vulnerabilities that a VM program has to deal with? Here's the most common mix-up. Vulnerability assessment is a snapshot. You take a picture today, but by tomorrow, new flaws could appear. Vulnerability management is the whole live feed. It's not one and done. It's a program that constantly discovers, tracks, and fixes. If your org only runs an assessment before an audit, you're essentially crossing your fingers the rest of the year. Here's another pair people confuse: penetration testing and vulnerability management. A penetration test is like a focused drill. It's usually a point-in-time exercise that often combines manual and automated techniques to simulate an attack. Vulnerability management, on the other hand, is an ongoing program. It uses automated scanning to continuously monitor for weaknesses and integrates processes for prioritization and remediation. The two aren't rivals. They complement each other. A pen test can uncover logic flaws a scanner would miss, while VM ensures you're not ignoring the everyday fundamentals. Quick recall. What's the difference between a vulnerability assessment and vulnerability management? Pause here. Back in 2021, a critical flaw in a widely used logging library was publicly disclosed. It earned one of the highest severity ratings possible, and within hours, attackers worldwide were scanning for vulnerable servers. But inside one company, a well-oiled vulnerability management lifecycle turned a potential crisis into a textbook response. Let's step through it. First, discovery. The scanner caught the vulnerable version. Then assessment confirmed the critical severity. Prioritization flagged all internet-facing systems, the ones attackers can reach. Remediation was swift. Apply the vendor's patch across every affected server. Finally, verification. A rescan confirmed no system still ran the exploitable version. That's the lifecycle in action, not on a whiteboard, but in the middle of a major incident. Final checkpoint for the lifecycle. What are the 5 stages? Discovery, then. Pause here. Want to try scanning from your own terminal? First, install Nmap. Then you can run Nmap with service detection and vulnerability scripts. Check the current Nmap documentation for the exact flags, but a common pattern is something like this. This pattern uses Nmap's scripting engine to run a set of vulnerability checks. It won't replace a full enterprise scanner, but seeing results on your own network makes the whole concept click. Run it only in a safe lab environment. Never against a network you don't own. Here's where almost every beginner gets vulnerability management wrong. They see 3 vulnerabilities all rated 9.8 and think, I'll patch them all with the same urgency. But a 9.8 on your public web server is a 5-alarm fire. Attackers can reach it from anywhere. The same score on a disconnected test machine in a lab. That's Tuesday. Context is everything. If you ignore asset criticality, network exposure, and business impact, you'll burn time patching things nobody can touch while the real target sits exposed. This is the #1 reason companies still get breached after a scan. Misplaced effort. Always ask, is this system actually reachable by an attacker? Does it hold sensitive data? Those 2 questions change your entire prioritization. Real quick, what's the primary goal of a vulnerability scan? Right, to identify known weaknesses and prioritize them by risk. CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, gives you a universal severity score from 0 to 10. Great for triage. But a number alone doesn't tell you if the vulnerable machine is holding customer credit cards or just displays the lunch menu. Context-based prioritization. Layers on asset criticality, network exposure, and business impact. Imagine the same CVSS 9.8 vulnerability on 2 different boxes. One sits in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, a network segment that's publicly accessible but isolated from your internal systems, serving your public website. The other is a forgotten test VM in a sandbox with no route to the internet. The CVSS score is identical, but the real-world risk is night and day. Smart VM programs don't stop at the score. They look around and ask, what's the blast radius if this gets exploited? That's the difference between noise and a genuine fire drill. Not every vulnerability needs the same fix. In many cases, applying the official patch is the ideal move. If a patch isn't available yet, a temporary configuration change that disables the vulnerable feature can buy time. Another option is a compensating control, like a web application firewall rule that blocks the exploit pattern. And when the vulnerable system is isolated with no sensitive data, the organization might formally accept the risk, always with documented approval. The key is having these approaches in your playbook before the scanner report lands. That's what separates a junior analyst from someone who can actually run a program. Let's look at a real vulnerability management dashboard. We log in with admin credentials and land on the main overview. Immediately, we see a list of critical vulnerabilities flagged. Filtering by high severity narrows the list, and we can select a specific vulnerability, maybe one similar to the Log4j we discussed earlier. Opening it gives a detail view, and from the remediation section we can see the recommended fix and even kick off a rescan to confirm the issue is resolved. This is the kind of workflow you'd run in a practitioner role, not just scanning but driving a flaw all the way to verified closure. Knowing your way around this interface is a strong signal in a job interview. A vulnerability management program doesn't live in one silo. IT operations owns the day-to-day, running scans, rolling out patches, keeping systems stable. The security team analyzes the findings, sets the remediation policy, and decides what's truly urgent. And leadership. They're the ones accepting risk when a fix can't be applied right now, and they're writing the checks for the tools and headcount. All three groups have to talk constantly, or the program stalls. When you're actually building a program, here's the blueprint. It starts with an up-to-date asset inventory. You can't protect what you don't know exists. Then a consistent scanning schedule feeds results directly into your ticketing system, like Jira or ServiceNow, so nothing slips through a spreadsheet. Each finding gets a risk score that blends severity with business context. From there, reporting and metrics roll up to executive dashboards. No one wants to read a raw scan report. And finally, continuous improvement. You review metrics, adjust scan frequency, and close gaps. It's a living loop. Let's test your understanding. What's the first step in building a vulnerability management program? Finding vulnerabilities is only the beginning. A successful vulnerability management program measures whether it's actually reducing risk over time. Security teams commonly track the percentage of critical vulnerabilities remediated within the organization's target time frame, the average time required to fix high-risk vulnerabilities, the number of overdue findings, and the percentage of systems successfully scanned during each assessment cycle. They also monitor recurring vulnerabilities to identify weaknesses that continue to appear despite previous remediation efforts. These metrics help security leaders identify bottlenecks, improve remediation processes, and demonstrate measurable progress. A mature vulnerability management program isn't judged by how many vulnerabilities it discovers. It's judged by how effectively it reduces organizational risk. So free versus paid. What do you actually need? If you're studying or building a home lab, open-source tools like OpenVS and Nmap scripts are more than enough. In enterprise environments, commercial platforms often include advanced reporting, central dashboards, and dedicated support to handle vulnerability management at scale. But here's the hiring truth. Interviewers care less about whether you've used a specific vendor's tool and a lot more about whether you can read a scan report and explain why one finding is urgent while another is low priority. Quick checkpoint. Can you name the 5 key steps in the vulnerability management lifecycle? Pause the video if you need a moment. Vulnerability management offers multiple career opportunities across cybersecurity. Many professionals begin as security analysts or vulnerability analysts, reviewing scan results, validating findings, and working with IT teams to prioritize remediation. As experience grows, responsibilities expand into coordinating enterprise-wide remediation efforts, developing vulnerability management processes, improving reporting, and helping leadership understand organizational risk. Senior professionals often design vulnerability management programs, establish security standards, mentor junior analysts, and advise executives on reducing cyber risk across cloud, on-premises, and hybrid environments. The technical and analytical skills you build in vulnerability management also create strong pathways into security engineering, cloud security, threat management, governance, and security architecture. As your career progresses, your responsibilities grow along with your technical expertise. Entry-level analysts focus on running scans, reviewing findings, verifying vulnerabilities, and helping IT teams resolve issues. Mid-level professionals prioritize risk, coordinate remediation across multiple teams, improve scanning schedules, and develop reporting for management. Senior practitioners design enterprise vulnerability management programs, establish security policies, measure program effectiveness, mentor security teams, and help executives make informed risk decisions. Vulnerability management sits at the intersection of technology, operations, and business risk, making it one of the strongest foundations for advancing into cybersecurity leadership and specialized security roles. If all of this made you think, I want in, here's your playbook. Step 1. Build the foundation with Professor Messer's free Security Plus series. It's the best zero-cost start out there. Step 2. Create a home lab, VirtualBox, a couple of Linux machines, OpenVS running scans. That hands-on reps is what hiring managers actually care about. Step 3. Earn a cert, Security Plus first, then CVSS Plus when you're ready to specialize. Step 4. Write vulnerability reports. Take your lab scan results, turn them into real findings, and practice explaining the risk to a non-technical audience. Step 5. Apply. Junior vulnerability analyst roles are out there, and a candidate with a home lab, a cert, and a small portfolio of reports stands out instantly. Now go build. Let's lock in the 3 things you need from this video. First, the vulnerability management lifecycle. Discover, assess, prioritize, remediate, verify. Second, the scanning tools you'll use like Tenable, Qualys, Rapid7. Third, the career path from junior analyst at around 70,000 to specialist nearing 170 and beyond. That's the blueprint. If you're ready to turn that knowledge into a job, hit subscribe because Part 12 covers building an incident response plan using NIST. Drop your biggest takeaway below, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, careers aren't built by watching videos. They're built by applying what you learn. Pick one thing from today's lesson. Build it, document it, and share it. That's how you get hired. Thanks for watching Hired in IT, where we're turning IT knowledge into career opportunities.